Hi, welcome to Rising Bravely. I'm Heather Lusky. I'm a transformational coach and energy worker and spirit channel. And for a long time, I've been feeling called to start this channel. And honestly, it's been really hard getting here. I have an intense fear of being seen in a public way. It's terrifying to me. I've been working a lot on that, and there's always a reason why I don't feel ready, or I feel legitimately that I'm not, don't have what I need to do this. And whether it's the fact that I don't currently have an appropriate space to film video, or is it a day where I have the right thing to wear, or I look like I'm happy and engaged? And there are a million reasons why I never feel ready. It's been probably at least a year and a half since I conceived of this channel to today. So first of all, I want to say, if there's something in the world that you are thinking of creating, that you're already actively creating or planning, I want to acknowledge how hard it can be sometimes to get from the concept phase and the planning phase to the execution phase. And I want to honor you wherever you're at, and encourage you that if you are thinking of doing something, or even just have the faintest twinkling of an idea of something, that you do yourself the service of exploring it. Because chances are, if your heart is being called in a direction, there's a reason for that you're meant to try it. Even if it doesn't come to fruition, maybe it's leading you somewhere that you're meant to be. Or maybe it's going to be amazing. And maybe a lot of people in the world are waiting for what you have. In fact, I like to say, and I didn't get this, I can't honestly remember where this all comes from. But I like to say that whatever you have going on, whatever you're working through, whatever you're working with, whatever you're thinking of sharing with the world, is likely your medicine to the world. It is likely a medicine that the world really needs. I do have some great mentors, and I know pieces of this come from them as well as from wherever. I consider myself a spirit channel. I know that a lot of what comes out of my mouth is not me. It's coming from somewhere else, and I'm cool with that. I don't need to take the credit for it. I'm here on the ground doing the work, but I can't take credit for the ideas necessarily, and that's okay. I don't need to. Anyway, that was a long way of introducing you to this channel, where I would really like to be a place to share ideas. I feel called and inspired to share ideas, questions, thoughts for consideration in your personal evolution, in your journey, in your growth. I invite you to try things on. If they feel right for you, great. Go with it, run with it. If it doesn't feel right for you, feel free to put it back down. It's all good. I do want to share with you that not only has it taken me a while to be ready to be seen and to find a way to work around all these things that I didn't feel like I had lined up or in the right place, such as this beautiful space that I'm in, which is not mine. I dream of having a beautiful space like this to work in, and collaboration, finding people who are willing to support your vision, to give you some space or help you edit your videos, or whatever it is that you're trying to create in the world. Maybe you don't have to do it alone. And maybe it's time to get somebody on board on your team to help bring it into the world. It's also, this week particularly, I've been going through a lot of changes and some really, really, really hard stuff that I consider myself a relatively grounded person, and this stuff has rocked me. It has so rocked me that although I personally believe everything that happens in my life happens for a reason, that it's leading me somewhere, I try to have trust and faith in my heart that whatever is happening will be in my best interest, even if it doesn't feel good when it's happening. And this stuff has gotten me to the point of, one blow, the emotional fallout, I start to work through it, and then another blow and the emotional fallout, and I'm reeling. Honestly, I've been depressed, and it's been hard to get out of bed, and I've been in shock, and I've been crying and crying and crying. And this morning I woke up and I didn't even want to get out of bed, and yet I had this invitation to come use this space to make this video. And I knew I couldn't say no. I didn't know how I was going to show up, but I knew I couldn't say no. And so I got myself here, and with the help of a friend who listened along the way and helped me to sort some feelings out, and the friend loaning me the space. And the reason why I'm telling you this is that I cried all the way here today. And, I don't know if I look like I've been crying all day, but I cried all the way here today. And all I could think was, how can I get on camera? How can I get on camera feeling the way I feel, feeling deflated, feeling like I can't do this without bursting into tears? How can I possibly be what the world needs? That sounds like a grand statement, but how can I possibly show up the way I feel called to show up in the world in this state? And then I realized, if you can't show up now, why are you doing this? Because the world doesn't need me to be perfect. It doesn't need you to be perfect. That's not the point. That's not what we're doing here. The world needs us to be fully ourselves and do what feels right for us in our hearts every day, no matter what we're going through. And not to say not to have compassion. If you feel like you need to rest and you need to take a day out, take a day out. Honor yourself and what feels right for you. But if there's a voice inside of you saying, you have something to say, or a place to be, a way to show up, I support you in doing that. I encourage you to do it, even if it doesn't seem like you'll be perfect at it, especially if it feels like you won't be perfect at it. The world doesn't need us to pretend to be perfect. The world needs us to be real and authentic and to show up. And it needs us to do it now. If we want the world to be a better place, if we want to survive the climate crisis, if we want our children to grow up in a world that's loving instead of violent and hateful and sniping, we need to show up fully, authentically today and just do the best we can and know that it's enough. So I invite you to this channel for inspiration on how you can lean into your life more fully and authentically. And I invite you, as you're watching this today, to ask yourself if there's something that you've been waiting to do, that you've been wanting to do or be. What is that? And are you willing to take a baby step forward or bigger? I invite you to go big, but a baby step is enough. Is there something that you could do today that would bring you closer to where you want to be, who you want to be in the world? I support you in doing that. And I just want you to know that if you're watching this, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be you. And know that it's more than enough. And it's exactly what the world is waiting for and needing. And I got your back. You are loved. You are complete. You are perfect as you are. And I'm excited to see what you do and who you're being. If you find value in this video or feel some connection to my message, I invite you to subscribe to the channel to see what's coming next and be informed of new videos. And regardless, I invite you to lean into your life a little more love yourself a little more, honor who you are, and where your heart is calling you. That's all for now. Until next time, take care of yourselves.